Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a special Monaco edition of the Fuel for Thought podcast. Special only in the sense that the homeboy won.
Yep.
Other than that, the race had an extra layer of uneventfulness after the first lap.
I think the first lap ruined the rest of the race.
Well, because it removed that element of strategy.
Yeah.
That is kind of one of, if not the only thing, that mixes up the race.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, not only is Monaco you can't overtake, but then without any pit stops, there just wasn't any.
Yeah.
But there were 3 pit stops, which we can talk about.
Okay.
But yes, there wasn't any strategy to kind of mix it up. So it was literally the cars going around the track 77 times without stopping. Mm-hmm. But
quite slowly as well, trying to protect their tyres.
yeah, and that was the other thing. And it's insane of how slow Charles was going, and even then, no one was able to overtake each other.
And George as well.
Yeah. Yeah, George was going even slower.
Yeah, and I think the fact that George didn't pit and Max did, and Max reached him, the back of him.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah. Max Verstappen reached the back of George and still couldn't overtake him on like 20, I don't even know how many laps, fresh tyres, like 30 laps, 40 laps, I don't know. But he still couldn't overtake him. So obviously we knew Monaco wasn't an overtaking track. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think the lack of pit stops from the top 10 really just kind of made it a predictable race for the 77 laps.
Yeah, I mean, top 10 stayed the same.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, so for a casual viewer, it wouldn't have been interesting at all. Mm-hmm. For F1 fans, more avid F1 fans such as ourselves, I think the anticipation of Charles winning and, anything could happen at any time. If there's a safety car, and I guess the pressure of that and staying in front, it made it more interesting narrative-wise. Yeah,
I agree. I kept saying anything could happen in Monaco, specifically on qualifying day. I think qualifying day was the most exciting part of the weekend.
It's worth talking about that for this race because it's like it's set the grid and so.
So the top 10 for the race was the top 10 qualifiers.
Yes.
In the same order.
Yes, and Charles, I think as we both predicted, right?
No.
Do you predict?
I didn't predict Charles to win, although I did say I wanted him to win.
As I predicted then. Got another third pole position at Monaco.
I don't know if I predicted him pole. I definitely didn't predict him to win.
Third time lucky for him.
Yep.
Piastri smashed it. Mm-hmm. What a driver. Second year.
He was, a tenth and a half?
I think so.
Charles?
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
The
Leclerc's 1-2.
Yeah. And then Carlos and Norris.
Yep. Did you see that F1 made their graphic say Oscar, Piastri, Leclerc on their Instagram? Everyone was and then Arthur Leclerc was interviewed asking about his nephew.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. It's all, good fun.
Yeah. I love how everyone just played along with the joke.
Yeah.
Carlos got lucky.
Man. I mean, Martin Brundle was like, he used one of his 9 lives of racing to get back, when it got reset. What I will say, the start of that race, what an audacious move around the outside from Oscar to leave his car stuck in there. Wow.
He couldn't have got any closer to the wall.
Yeah. Great move. And unfortunately, he gave Carlos that puncture, but fortunately, it didn't matter in the end.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It was impressive to watch, and I think also it's testament to how good both of those drivers are because of what happened further down the field between Perez and Magnussen, and it's one of those accidents. I think this is why it was a racing incident where you couldn't tell who was at fault because Perez looked in his mirrors.
That's the thing. I think that's the thing which caused it to be a racing incident is the fact that he saw that Magnussen was there. I think if he hadn't looked in his mirrors and it happened, then Magnussen probably would have been at fault. But because Perez saw that Magnussen was there and going for the gap and still moved over, I think that's why they said it was a racing incident.
Yeah.
But Magnussen got pretty darn lucky.
Well, Perez looks in his mirrors and then just drifted across ever so slightly. And Magnussen, being Magnussen, saw the gap and was like, "It's Monaco. I'm going for that."
Yeah, didn't back
probably
off.
too, or was too dangerous because of what happened. But in contrast, I think to that, what I was mentioning between Piastri and Sainz, similar kind of squeeze between them on the wall, but they respected each other enough and were talented enough to judge it perfectly and both get round that corner.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But then...
Just shows the difference. But as we always say, Paris shouldn't have been at the back of the grid anyway.
Obviously, he qualified 18th.
18th.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's 2 bad races in a row now for him.
It's really bad. P18.
Max only qualified P6, but...
Also, pretty sure Valtteri Bottas overtook Perez at the beginning as well.
I think so, yeah. Well, that's kind of why he was in that position, because he was caught in like a little pocket where he was just like chugging along up to the first corner, and then held up with the Hasses. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Hulkenberg almost missed it. Almost got
collected
through
at the end.
Yeah, it's a shame, really.
And the third incident.
Ooh.
Let's talk about Esteban Ocon
okay.
shoving his nose up the inside.
What even was that?
Hairpin. I think, is that what that corner's called?
It was just before the tunnel.
Yeah, I think, yeah. And just completely, what was Gasly supposed to do? Disappear?
Honestly, there wasn't even a gap.
Yeah.
It was like he literally drove into Pierre, flew in the air. I did hear that he took accountability for it, though, and apologised.
Yeah, because everyone blamed him.
Yeah.
So.
But they said that the team principal, I think, or the CEO,
team boss,
said that he wasn't very happy with Esteban, and he's going to have to start making some tough decisions.
So the interpretation of that is that he might be benched for next race.
Mm-hmm. I actually have heard those rumours, and also maybe they'll drop him for next season. But that would be a very tough decision for them to make.
Yeah.
But I thought they squashed the kind of squabbles between Pierre and Esteban.
I don't even think it's the squabbles between those two at this point.
Okay.
It seems to be Ocon and his teammates. Every single teammate he's had, Perez, Alonso, Gasly, he's just fought with really, really hard.
Yeah.
Like unnecessarily aggressive with his teammates.
It's just a shame, really, because they were not in a good... Well, they were at 10 and 11, so yeah, I get it. It is for a point, but Ocon has been doing better than Pierre this season. He's
got 1 point.
Yeah, but they're still, like, on paper better than Pierre. So it's not as if, like, Pierre is showing him up every race.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just don't think that's very smart from him.
No, it was silly.
It was very silly.
And it didn't even matter either.
Nope.
Because it got red flagged, like 2 seconds after that.
And he couldn't even do the race anymore.
No.
We were like, why is it his jeans? They were literally all in their car, and it was like race starts in 2 minutes. We were like, what? And then, it turns out he DNF'd. So.
Yep. But yeah, so I want to talk about. There were a few pit stops.
Yeah.
Verstappen and Hamilton both pitted.
Yeah.
1 lap after each other. Hamilton pitted first, and Verstappen then pitted a lap later.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bono just told Hamilton to drive normally on his outlap. And he, had a potential chance to try and undercut Verstappen. Maybe he wouldn't have done it, but if he'd had a really good outlap and was told to push and got 2 seconds quicker on the outlap, it would have been close.
Well, there was 2 seconds. I think it was 2.5 seconds that Verstappen came out in front of Hamilton, and I think someone said that they were driving around 119 a lap, but obviously quali pace is 110. I don't expect Hamilton they're never going to do quali pace, but there is a couple of seconds in that he could have gained.
Yeah, maybe like 116.
Exactly, he could have tried if he knew. But yeah, it's a shame that could have been the only kind of exciting bit of racing that we got.
Yeah, and I've seen a few Hamilton, fans get really upset over it, and while it's very oddly uncompetitive from Mercedes to not try that, and I don't know the reasons, we're not engineers, but they might have had a reason to think that it wasn't possible. But yeah, it seems very odd for a team that has been so competitive
Yeah.
to not even try that.
Yeah,
I would say.
I actually can't think of a reason why, because it wasn't as if he had to hold onto those tyres for a significant amount of time.
No, but I think you can take a lot of life out of tyres if you do
True.
a quality lap on them.
But he moved on to the hard tyres. So do you remember when Hamilton on the radio was like, I told you, and we were like, what did you tell them?
The wrong tyre.
Yeah, started on the wrong tyre, because obviously they started on the hards, both Mercedes and Verstappen. And that's why they were on the mediums, because they have to obviously swap compounds.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why they had to kind of nurse their tyres around.
And George Russell took the mediums to the end.
Yeah, 77 laps on the mediums.
Yeah. I mean, but what does that kind of say about Monaco as well?
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean, what else happened really? But the only other thing that's worth mentioning is, remember in the last podcast of predictions, I talked about like no one really gets overtaken at Monaco, and it only really happens towards the back of the field where on the sort of lower teams on the grid and sort of less skilled drivers, I guess, or like the back of the pack. And it happened here. Logan Sargent got overtaken a couple of times. Once was by Bottas. I can't remember the other one.
I remember that Bottas one. Because they were like, wow, an overtake.
Yeah. But he seemed to get caught napping.
Yeah.
But, the top 10 were going so slowly, and none of them were letting themselves be in a position to be attacked or overtaken.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it seems that theory, at least, was tested here.
I mean, looking at the onboard of Bottas, it seemed pretty easy for him to do.
It wasn't even that much of a dive bomb. He just slid up the inside and then, But to Sargent's credit, he also got an overtake.
Who did he overtake?
I can't remember who he overtook, but he did overtake someone. So fair play.
Yeah. I mean, even though the top 10 drivers were driving so slow, Hamilton still lapped Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, who was one place behind him.
Yeah, who was one place. Yeah. Obviously, Hamilton was P7, Yuki was P8, and he was literally a lap behind him.
I mean, what does that say about the top 4 teams?
Yeah, true.
The gap just seems bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. But a couple of honourable mentions, Tsunoda and especially Pierre Gasly getting points.
Yep, point.
Yeah, getting point.
Yeah. It's pretty good, though, for the Alpine, and considering he had that crash. Yeah, he seemed very happy by that. So that's great. Alex Albon got the first point for Williams.
Oh, yeah,
first
he got
points
that honourable
for
mention
Williams.
to him as well. Mm-hmm. Yes, Alex Albon.
Yeah.
Fair play.
It was all about qualifying in the end for points.
Yeah, it certainly was. Mm-hmm. Yes, the other thing is, Alonso qualified really badly again for the second race in a row. It went out in Q1, but he was in a position to do a Magnussen and hold up the pack to let his teammate get a gap to pit. Now, what did he do with that gap? He came out on fresh tyres and gave himself a puncture straight away, and we were like, "Oh no, it's going to be a safety car here."
It was crazy that literally the tyre flew off as soon as he was. We were like, oh, and then we realised he was in the pits. Yeah. We were like, "Thank God, there's not going to be." I don't know, like, I mean, safety car, would that have made it more interesting? Probably not. Maybe actually.
No, it would have, because there would have been loads of cars down into the pits.
True. So maybe, if only had it came off a corner earlier.
Yeah, but then Charles would have been in trouble.
True.
Yeah, so for his sake, probably glad that it didn't happen. But now that he's got a Monaco win, next year, let's have a lot of safety cars.
Yeah, it was really good to see, obviously, Charles win his home race. I think that's probably the dream for F1 drivers, apart from obviously
home
being...
race and Monaco.
Yeah.
Drivers want to win both, and he's done it all in one.
Yep.
But just to wrap up the Aston Martin point, Alonso, after Stroll obviously had to be pit again, was like, "Oh, I'm in the points now," and they were like, "No, you're P11." So they made him do that gap
for no reason,
just for Stroll to pit and have a chance at chasing Gasly on fresher tyres for P10. So I think Alonso was very confused by that, because he did all that for no points.
Yeah.
So,
That is a bit, it's just not really going to... unless like something crazy happens. Yeah, I did expect there to be like another event after the red flag. I was like, oh yeah, I reckon there's going to be something else, but there wasn't.
Well, I think 'cause no one changed tyres. So.
Yeah. Trying to think of any other memorable moments in the race.
I think we could probably go on to reviewing our predictions.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's a shame because a lot of my predictions from the week before for Imola actually came true this week.
Yeah. Well, like Gasly getting points.
Yep. But never mind. Let's have a look at what I predicted for Monaco. Okay. So qualifying, I threw up my curveball because as I say all the time, anything can happen in Monaco. Valtteri Bottas P3. That did not happen at all. More like P19. Yeah. P19 then got promoted up to P17 because of the Haas mishap. P2, Charles Leclerc. Pole, Lando Norris.
Yeah. Very wrong.
Very wrong. I should have just done it. I should have just said Charles.
Well, I was wrong as well, apart from P1.
Yeah.
I said Norris, Verstappen, Leclerc, which was more reasonable and realistic.
Yeah.
And Leclerc did get pole, but the other McLaren of Piastri got P2, and Sainz got P3, and Verstappen nowhere to be seen.
Exactly. And I think I should get some credit for this because I didn't put Verstappen in my top 3 at all for either qualifying or the race.
Yeah.
So I predicted that Verstappen wouldn't get top 3. I'll take a bow later.
Well, you're not getting any credit for that. But
Okay.
Yeah, fair point. The race.
The race, I put Oscar Piastri P3.
Okay.
So not far
Far
off.
off, yeah.
Charles Leclerc P2 and Lando Norris P1. So just shift the bottom 2 up and then add in Carlos. But yeah, not terrible.
Yeah, but still wrong.
Still wrong, yeah.
I put the same as Quali. Norris, Verstappen, Leclerc.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Leclerc won.
Yeah.
He did. I'm going to take credit for that. The
Okay,
curse has
you
been
take.
lifted.
You take. Yeah. There's no Monaco curse anymore. I guess that makes it a bit more special for him. The fact that he's had that like disaster in the past, and he's raced here. I think this was his sixth time here or 5th time.
Yeah.
And he's never been on the podium.
Which is insane. Getting
Yeah.
pole 3 times and never being on the podium.
Now he has on the top step.
Right, on to the bold predictions.
Okay. So I said 7 cars won't finish the race.
So 4 cars didn't finish the race.
No.
So, I mean, you were over halfway there.
I was like, oh,
Fair enough.
almost.
My first one was kind of right.
Okay.
Mercedes will mess up their strategy.
Well, yeah. Okay.
And
I
they
think
didn't really, but we'll never know if Hamilton could have undercut Verstappen.
Yeah, but also starting on the hards.
Yeah, no, but yeah, again, but also they weren't to know about the red flag either. So
True. I feel like in Monaco though, I don't know. I feel like something like that is. It could, yeah, it's like a high possibility for it to happen. But then again, in Imola, they said there's a 100% chance of a safety car.
No, it wasn't.
And there wasn't. So fair. Like I don't know if that counts as like messing up the strategy. But yeah, not telling Hamilton to speed up. Probably I would give you that one. So my second prediction was Sergio Perez out in Q1.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well.
It's actually crazy that I predict that and it's true. And like he's in a Red Bull. I don't know if there's anything more that I need to say about that because I've said it in previous podcasts and I just think.
Yeah, he just had 2 bad laps. And yeah.
I think that people will have their eyes on that Red Bull seat next season.
Well, yeah, it's just not good enough at the moment, is
No.
it, really?
No.
For someone in the top team. So, yeah, he's got some work to do. My second one, Bottas will get points. Didn't happen.
No.
Should have said Gasly. Damn.
Yeah. Should have done.
Or Albon. Oh, well.
Hindsight's lovely, isn't it? My third one was Red Bull would get their strategy wrong.
No.
No.
No, it didn't happen.
They didn't have a chance with Perez. But no, they didn't. Max's was fine.
Well, if their strategy was to get both cars in the top 10.
Yeah, then they got it wrong. So I'm correct. What's your third?
The first half of this is right. Okay.
Okay.
There will be a 3-car pile-up at the Lowe's hairpin.
Oh my gosh.
There was a 3-car pile-up.
What's that bit of the track called? Where it's like up the hill, past all the yachts. Yacht Hill.
Well, it's not past all the yachts, because the yachts are on the
right hand side.
the lower bit.
Yeah, I know, but the yachts are there. It's like...
Yeah. I don't know what that's called.
I don't know either. But yeah.
But yeah, sort of like there's corners, but not really. Like a windy street up there, yeah. So yeah.
No, I'll give you that. That's actually...
3-car pile-up.
That's pretty crazy that you predicted that.
That accident, look, it was like an aeroplane crash.
I think... do you know what, actually? Magnussen, when when Perez was sideways into him, he just kept going. He didn't stop the car. It was like he was trying to get Perez out the way by keeping on going.
Well, I don't know what the procedure is if you're having a crash or speeding into a barrier or something like that. But I assume he didn't have any control of his brakes.
Okay.
Or they don't brake. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But
it just seemed a bit crazy that he was trying to just drive into him so it moves him out the way so he could just carry on. But
did you see the videos from the Marshall's point of view and all the debris that shower?
No, I don't think I saw that. But I saw
pretty insane.
I actually saw a picture of them of the marshals taking a picture with Perez's smashed up car. They all stood in front of it taking a picture.
Well, they're all volunteers, so who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
they're not getting paid, so
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
In Monaco. Yeah, funny. Let me see if there's anything memorable I wrote down.
I saw one of the Red Bull engineers tweeted that when they were recovering Perez's car, some entitled girl came up to him and was like, "My dad said that I could have a piece of the car." And he was like, "No, it's not being cleared as safe yet. Go away."
What?
Yeah.
That sounds like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, right?
What's her name? Violet? No.
Violet, yeah.
No, it's Veruca.
Oh, I think there's one called both, yeah.
Yeah, Violet's the one that eats the blueberry. Mm-hmm. Veruca's the one that is like, "Daddy, I want a pony." And he's like, "You've already got 10 ponies."
I want a Red Bull.
Yes, "I want a bit of the Red Bull. You've already got every other car. You've already got the rear wing. I want the front wing." What did I write down? This was Leclerc's first win since Austria 2022. And I remember they came up with the stat that Leclerc's only won 5 times previously, obviously not including this one. And I said to you, I was like, 5? He's only won 5 times.
Yeah, I believe that.
And then you said, yeah, but he's got, 23, 24 poles?
23 poles, I think, yeah.
It doesn't feel like he's only won 5 times.
He won twice in 2019. He won, I think, twice in 2022.
Yeah.
Or 3 times, something like that.
I think because he was in contention at the beginning of 2022 for the World Drivers' Championship, because he was top for a few races. In my head, he was having a winning streak. But yeah, I was quite shocked to learn that he only won 6 times now. Adding to the tally.
Yeah. Not much opportunity for anyone to win around, Hamilton up until 2021 and Verstappen now.
Yeah.
But this season's shaping up to be actually more entertaining than it was.
Yep.
We've had 4 race winners now.
Yep.
4 different race winners. Is it 4 or 5?
4.
No,
4.
Has Perez won this season?
Nope.
So Verstappen, Sainz, Norris, and Leclerc.
Mm-hmm. Ocon's got a 5-place grid penalty for Canada.
Canada, yeah. Rightly so. If he competes.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he doesn't compete, it carries over. For the next race.
Yeah, has to.
Yeah, it will. I think it will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all said and done, there's actually been quite a bit to talk about on a fairly uneventful race.
Yeah, true. I think they need to change something in Monaco. I've heard a few people suggest things. I think Matt and Tommy said maybe widen the final corner. Maybe, I think George Russell suggested mandatory pit stops.
He was talking to Verstappen about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they do need to do something, whether it's widening a couple of corners or switching up a little bit.
People were kind of blaming the size of the cars, which, yeah, is a fundamental issue. But can you really have like a spec car for Monaco?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they have specific wings and steering wheels for Monaco.
But then it's like, it just becomes like an exception.
Yeah.
And it's not consistent with the rest of the season. Which
Yeah.
I guess it isn't now, but still.
Yeah, but I feel like you can't just implement a set of rules for one weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it has to be across the board. But I also had someone suggest that we have Monaco every other year. So it's still like this big event. Because obviously Monaco is a big event. It's been going on for years. And I do find it exciting, although like I think I find Saturday more exciting than Sunday. And I find like them racing around Monaco quite exciting, if you can say it's racing. But yeah, it's just not a great competitive race.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure they will look at something. I think all the drivers are screaming out for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Max said he was bored.
Yeah, well, when he's not at the front.
Yeah,
I guess. Sure he would have been saying that if he was leading the race.
Yeah, when you see Mercedes front rear wing in front. Am I saying rear wing? Why am I struggling to say that in front of you? Then it's probably not and front wing behind you. It looks like Charles Leclerc had a great night out after his win. A lot of alcohol, I'm assuming, was consumed. So yeah, I'm just glad that he got that win, and well done to Charles, proving the home race curse may not be true.
Yeah, well, I saw he cycled home after.
Yeah, I saw that video too. Fair play.
But yeah, the sound of him saying "yeah," that was heartwarming.
I heard that he had some tears in his eyes.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's really
very
love
sweet.
it.
But yeah, so Canada next.
Yep, Lance Stroll's home race.
Good track. I like Canada. Had some good races in the past. Yes, Lance Stroll's home race. I can't see that being very eventful for him.
Maybe the home race curse.
Maybe.
Maybe Charles Leclerc might rub off on him and he'll win. Don't know about that one, but
yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Maybe he'll get points.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe not.
But yeah, looking forward to that. It's on the 9th, I think. So a couple of weeks break on that. So yeah, good place to wrap up, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. See you next year from Monaco.
See you next year. Got my Monaco jumper on.
Nice. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah, we're almost at 50 subscribers.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. Thank you everyone who's subscribed so far.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll catch everyone in a couple of weeks for the build up to Canada.
Woohoo. Bye.